Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Nighttime Astro Live. I'm Shannon, your host and owner and operator of Lunar Ladies. Welcome. I'm so excited to hang out with you. We won't go as long tonight because unless there's lots of questions, but I wanted to jump in and share with you what's happening tonight in the cosmos. Of course, we always like to say hello to the cosmos. And then share with you what this lunar week is all about, and to help you get into action, make a plan for success as we move towards the full moon. So I'm just getting my notes out because next week we've got lots happening. So this week it's good for us to focus. We're still in the 666 gateway of the nourishing divine feminine. Hooray, isn't that nice? And now we've moved into the first quarter moon, meaning it's waxing. It's now reached a 90-degree angle with the sun. So you'll see it in the night sky as a half moon. And this is the time when we look up in the sky and we see that waxing half moon, it propels us to get into action. So this is not a time or not a week to be laying down on the couch. Of course, if you're feeling tired, definitely take your cat naps, but really you'll get super energized if you move your body. So I'm going to talk about first quarter techniques for like how to merge and align with this powerful time of the lunar cycle, because it's designed to help like get you slightly irritated, right? Because it's building energy in your field to make a breakthrough, a change, to move your energy fields to a more powerful level. So you might get something come up like block, resistance. That's your friend. Just know, tell your mind, hey, this is coming to help me, not hurt me, not stop me, but that thwarting, blocking energy is helping you build enough energy in the system, in your own personal system, to make a breakthrough. So it's moving through something. So I like to explain it as if you're, walking in nature, you come across a stream, the water's flowing, and then the next day you come across the stream, a tree falls, and it's blocking the flow of the water moving in the stream, and so it starts to back up. But as it backs up, it builds in velocity because the stream is still moving, although it's slowed down by the tree that fell in its path, but it's backing the water up later, and it's creating more a powerful velocity, and eventually it'll move that tree out of the way. So that's what first quarter lunar moons do. So what do you need to get moved out of your way? Think about that. Now, when you take your personal astrology chart, you're going to see where this is happening most powerfully in your Gemini ruled house and your Virgo ruled house. Now, I really like the time of the year when we do have a Gemini sun with a Virgo moon, because they're both ruled by Mercury. So when we look at that positioning in our chart, Gemini square Virgo, it's really good to go into the mercurial energy because he is the ruling planet of both signs. But I created the chart for the first quarter moon so we can get into understanding the powerful energies, wisdom, what the focus is, how to get help to merge with this frequency so that you can make a change. So looking at your Gemini and Virgo ruled houses, that's where you're going to see the change, right? Merge with the energy. And then that way you, I always like to say one with the cosmos is the majority. So just finding that sweet spot every lunar week when we have a lunar phase change, as well as we're having an astrological alignment, you find that sweet spot in your chart, which is where is it happening in your chart? And then you can just align, merge, focus there, and then you're going to get the power of the universe flowing through your life. So it really makes life a lot easier. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of what's going on. Help, right? Help has arrived. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take a look at the first quarter moon. waxing moon in Virgo happened yesterday morning at 7:48 a.m. And so this chart for that moment when the sun at 16 degrees Gemini squared the moon at 16 degrees Virgo. This is in play for a week until we get the next lunar phase change of into the full moon. Okay, so we're gonna read this chart and find out what's going on. Now, first thing I do is like, okay, what's the degree of the sun in Gemini and the moon in Virgo? It's 16. So 16 is what we would call the second decan of a sign. And so the second decan of a sign takes on the flavoring of the next elemental sign in the zodiac wheel. So the sun at 16 degrees Gemini takes on Gemini, but plus the next air sign, which is Libra. So we have this Libra influence to the Gemini mind energy of working in our mental body and working on our new moon intentions. So last week, when you set your new moon intentions forward, then this is how we're going to put them into action, right? This is the breaking through the surface of the soil. So this right now, the Gemini sun has Libra influences. So we're thinking relationships, authenticity, balance, fairness, kindness. And balance is really a big theme in this chart. And you know, right away we can see that most of the planets are at the top of the chart, and we need balance with kind of moving into these other signs that don't have planetary activity. So I like to use the mirroring effect to bring more balance into the system, which is more harmony. Now, the Virgo moon has the next influence of the next earth sign. So we go to the next earth sign, that's Capricorn. So this Virgo moon has a flavor of Capricorn. And in Capricorn, we do have the Pluto. So we might bring in some Plutonian energy in our Capricorn moon vibration. So when you're looking at the Virgo moon, it's called the counting moon, and it's about taking an account of your emotional body, your emotional energy. And it's looking at the Capricorn influence, like who are you as an adult? What do you do as your contribution to the greater good? We call it, mainstream calls it your career as an adult, but also the soul wants to know, like, what are you doing with your life? How are you making the world better because you're here, you matter. So that element comes into us clearing and cleansing our body, mind, spirit wellness. That's the Virgo energy of the moon, wants you to focus on all things body, mind, spirit, emotional wellness, being in service to others. Capricorn energy comes in and says, well, good, let's be in service to others, but let's make a contribution of our gifts, skills, and talents and realize that we're here for a purpose. That's Capricorn. I want you to get busy, get focused, get real, right? Bringing it down to earth. So it's a really earthy, emotional week. So we want to ground, we want to feel strong. It's a good week to do, of course, we always want to move our bodies in a first quarter lunar week because we got more energy in the system. And Capricorn or Virgo is concerned with your GI tract, so gut health, so take your probiotics. Capricorn is concerned with your muscles and your bones, so strengthening those large muscle groups, like do squats, lift weights, strengthen the bones, leafy greens with some good calcium. If you do dairy, how about a little bit of yogurt this week, strengthening the bones. Okay, so that's how we can connect to the body energy of the Virgo moon that has a influence of Capricorn. Okay, so when we look at the Sabian symbols, we talked on Monday about the Gemini sun bringing in the energy of soul achievement and how is it measured? How does the soul measure achievement? Remember, soul outside of the earth world and the kind of material way of looking at your life. Hey, hi June, welcome, beautiful. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Talking about the first quarter moon. So look in your Gemini ruled house for the sun, look in your Virgo ruled house for the moon. That's where the energy is for you to make a breakthrough this week. Okay, so the sun is asking us from a soul's perspective how to measure success for this incarnation. And it's measured through self-awareness, right? Becoming aware. And I love the Gemini energy because it's like looking in your own mirror, asking your own twin, what's going on? Becoming more self-aware, seeing yourself in a mirror, becoming more aware. And the second way that the soul measures achievement is empathy for others and appreciation of others. So if you become more self-aware, there's more opportunity for self-love and a more positive, harmonious relationship to self. And then from that place, you can go out into the world and start engaging with others and have more opportunity to feel empathic and appreciative of others. So that's what the sun wants you to focus on this week. Now the moon is coming in and saying, wants you to focus on this. Reconnect with your essential, creative life force that's deep within. And I love that it's the moon because the moon is our core root self, that primal source of chi, of fuel, of life force that we can only get from one thing, our source, our light, our God, energy that has created us as souls. Remember, this is soul's perspective. So when you start connecting to your natal vibrancy, life force, power, and one way you can do that is be out in nature, breathe the air, take a mask off and breathe the air, drink water, get sunshine, fill up on the chi. If you have a fruiting plant or tree, ask the tree if you can have one of its fruits. I know it's early in the season, but that might work. Get something that has life force from life itself, right? Something alive and breathe it in, right? So exercise is good, breathing, staying hydrated, food right off the vine, right? Because it's filled with the earth's life force. Hug a tree, right? Talk to your plants, connect. Okay, so Mercury also has a message for you, right? So here's Mercury still starting to gain speed. He hasn't moved off the 26th degree where he ended his retrograde journey. He's getting close to move to the next degree. But before he moves, he says, I have a message. And it's from soul. Isn't that nice? So this is all from the Sabian symbol wisdom for the degrees. And his message is, remember, the soul is indifferent to these circumstances and scenarios of this earthly world. Like to the soul, it's just like a blip on the eternal screen of immortal life, right? So don't get too caught up in it. The soul has a neutrality about it. So if you're getting pulled in directions where you feel like, oh my God, this is so hard, this is so awful, I can't bear it, go into soul. And the soul has a beautiful ability to become more neutral and realize that the soul is beyond the temporal world or beyond these circumstances or scenarios. So that's Mercury's message for you, right? Okay, so now I want to get into a little bit more that the wisdom of this actual chart that you can add and apply to your life. Be on the lookout for it. And when you see it, merge and focus with it, because that's where the energy is that the cosmos has gifts for you. So the next one is Chiron. Notice it's making a green line to the moon. So I'm looking at the moon's aspects, which are these lines. So we got, of course, the square to the sun. That makes the first quarter moon. We've got a trine to a perfect trine to Uranus. I'm saving that one for last. And then we have a yod, which is a spiritual light or lightning in the chart to Chiron, the wounded healer. And then we have an opposition to more so the Juno at 14 degrees Pisces. But I want to focus on the yod because it goes right into the heart of the matter of the spiritual nature of this chart, because the Sabian symbols are saying it's about soul. You got to connect to your soul, not the personality, not the ego, not the circumstance, not the temporary stuff. You got to go more into the infinite, eternal light to understand and find your ground, really, and make those breakthroughs. So Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron bears the medicine for the soul. And so we want to be able to connect Chiron to the moon by grounding it in a soul or spiritual understanding. Now, Chiron is at 15 degrees Aries. It's the midpoint of Aries. So midpoints, 15 degrees, are always very powerful as a planet moves through a sign, a zodiac sign. And this just happens to be my North Node degree. So I got Chiron transiting my North Node. So this is waking me up. Maybe it's giving me the energy to do the nighttime astro lives. I was like, wow, thanks, Chiron. So this is one of my favorite Sabian symbols because it really speaks to me at a soul level. But this is the image of fairies dancing in the setting sun, right? Isn't that a nice image, right? Imagine the fae to the west, dancing as the sun sets, like all is well. So this is telling you that the elemental beings, which are representing more your soul's nature rather than the ego personality separated from source and soul, you know, we call that personality. And we forget that the universe is made of love and light. So the fae are saying, act as if you make a difference in the world. Act like, just if you can't believe it, pretend. Everything, because they want us to know that everything returns to source, right? So if everything, like if we're watching a simulation and everything is returning to source, but we have these like crazy, insane things happening on the screen, the fae say, wait a minute, act as if you make a difference because you're here. And we know on a soul level, that is the truth. But our personality gets all confused. And has a hard time because it gets wounded, doesn't feel self-worth and self-importance and self-love, right? Because we get wounded as children. And this is a, wounding of the child energy. So we're looking at that wounded inner child. And when you act as if you make a difference in the world, what's happening is you're finding your dynamic balance between soul and material, spirit and material worlds. You're finding that dynamic balance. Look to the end of this whole saga, the West, the sunset, good night, the end. It's saying we're dancing in the setting sun, like all is well. Everything goes back to source. And what is source? Love and light. So I thought that when you really tune into that this week, knowing that everything returns to source, act as if you make a difference because you do. You find that dynamic balance. It's clearing and cleansing to your core root self. When it's getting cleansed and cleared, you're connecting to your primal life force chi, which is the message of this moon. And then you're realizing that, wow, my soul is measured by my self-awareness of this and my ability to appreciate others through empathy, kindness, and compassion. And Mercury says, hold on, because the soul is indifferent to the chaos because the soul is already dancing with the fae and the setting sun. So I thought that that was really interesting as a way to understand how to relate in the here and now in a most powerful and positive way. All right, I'm going to leave with two more things, right? Because I want to take this into your nighttime. My East Coasters, you're getting ready for bed. So I want you to bring this wisdom into your dream time so you can be rejuvenated when you wake up in the morning. Okay, so Uranus. Notice this blue line goes right into the heart of Uranus, who's sandwiched by Venus and Pallas Athena, two goddesses. Uranus is the sky god. Uranus is the lover of Gaia, right? They are true love partners. So he's in her home sign. So he's like in the embrace of Gaia. So Uranus can create a lot of change for us while he's transiting through Taurus. And so he's offering a harmonic gift to this lunar week. And his harmonic gift, comes, it's the imagery of battle between swords and torches. Kind of the eternal battle of good and evil, but really at a soul level, that battle doesn't exist because soul source is beyond that. And so what Uranus wants you to practice this week as a way to move and build energy and make breakthroughs and love yourself, becoming more self-aware. Uranus says, learn to discern between what enables you and what betrays spirit, right? So we're looking at, okay, if I'm kind of stuck in a negative pattern and I'm enabling this like lack of self-worth and I'm kind of repeating it over and over, is that betraying spirit? Because spirit is the joy, the dance, that everything matters. So look at your behavioral patterns to make a shift. Where do you enable yourself to not be dancing with soul and spirit? Ask yourself, am I betraying my spirit? And if so, where is that happening in my life, in my world? And to me, what it's pointing out is it's at the core root self, it's at the wounded inner child, it's at this lack of self-love and self-worth. That betrays spirit because all that is a lie. Even though we may have receipts, proof, wait a minute, I've been hurt, I've been wounded, and life is hard. That's when we need to surround those people with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of love and hugs and support until they can wake up out of that nightmare, right? But hold them tight. Okay, remember. But that's what Uranus is sharing. And Uranus is saying, look, we have a choice here. You can enable the negativity, or you can, which betrays spirit, or you can see it by becoming more self-aware, and then you can shift your whole frequency and change your life in a New York second, right? By becoming one with your soul again. Because he says, this is another way you can discern, am I enabling myself to betray spirit? When you come across a choice, all right, Gemini is about choices. Mercury helps us with choices. But Uranus, the sky god, is saying, look at it. Wisdom has two courses, this or that. So if you come across a choice where you're going this or that, Uranus says, follow the course of this. Where will that choice lead me if I can go 20 years from now, or even the end of my life? And then go to the other choice and go, where would that course lead me 20 years from now, or the end of my life? And look at both courses and go, which one is better? And you know what? You might go, wow, neither one. I say no to both. That's radical and revolutionary. Right? So that's a way we can start playing with the what's happening in our life, be more empowered to make good decisions that are enabling our spirit, right? To be driving the ship and make good, healthy choices for ourselves that enable body, mind, spirit wellness. So hi, Janice, welcome. Thanks for being here. I see your comment. My natal Uranus is 21 degrees and Venus 10 degrees, both in Virgo, 4th house. Woo! So you got all this happening in your 4th house, which is when we do a Druid astrology past life reading, and that's the celestial stem. So 4th house is very important to really dig into the roots there and dig into the soil and really feel into what is the temperature or the health of my roots and my soil, of my celestial stem. And some of you may find that, wow, on a soul level, I feel very different, but in my lineage, there's a whole other story happening. And a lot of times, very powerful souls will come into lineages that need a lot of help, right? To get their soil healthier and purified. And so, you might want to go into that soil and look around and go, what does it need here? What amendments can I put from my soul frequency into this soil? So for Janice, she's got Uranus. So you're in a Uranus trine, right? He's 5 degrees away from exact trine. So Uranus trine Uranus is a good one. It's a good one, right? Waking up. And then you got Venus there, and you're in a Venus trine right now. And so the moon is nurturing that. So you got a Venus trine. I love that. So, good stuff. Wow, you're getting all this yummy energy in your 4th house. Time to plant something there. What are you planting for the next generations? Like your sons, their kids. And energetic. It's a new consciousness you're planting around Venusian concepts that love, self-worth, deserving, being in service to creator, right? First, and then, which is creator within, and then being of service to the community or the family. Good stuff, Janice. Thank you for sharing your natal chart with us. Yay. All right, so the other interesting thing that I would love to, got another quote. Bringing home my mom from nursing home in a couple weeks. Oh, getting brother to help too. Yay, brother, go brother, yay. Plus new job at elder advocate at the Hoopa Tribe. I'm so excited about that because I know only good will come from this. I'm happy your mama's coming home. That's wonderful. And I'm so happy that your brother is able to help because I know that will feel good for his spirit. So you set the energy in the house, my friend. You do your witchy stuff in the house. Set the energy. Call in the ancestors in all 4 corners. Call in your medicine ancestors. I keep hearing the grandmas. Grandmas need to come in maybe way back, way back. But only you can call them because you've got the awareness. And ask them, I think they all have a gift for you and the family. So they want to be anchored in the house somehow or create like a stargate or portal for them to easily slip through and be there to help. I think this is a really joyous thing. And everybody gets helped, right? Something like that. I don't know, something like that. You already know. You already know. That's exciting. Keep me updated. That's beautiful. And of course, then you get help because you're the main caretaker, right? So they can help you, help the others, and help, everybody wins because our ancestors love to help us. Don't they? Right? And you got that 12th house north node. That's the ancestors, right? They love to help us. And you know what it does, what I feel it does for our ancestors is it gives them these spiritual credits. And they're like, oh my God, it's like they're getting a new job, right? And they're like, wow, I just got this fabulous raise. I just got this new job. It pays really well. The benefits are great. So I think when we call our ancestors in to come and ask for their help, especially the well ones, not the ones that went through hard times and trauma, but the ones before that didn't experience those. They come through more in a pure vibration, and then they can purely bring their gifts. That's very exciting. Yay, ancestors. Woohoo! Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. So exciting. Yeah, right? I love that too for you. It makes me happy. Yes, lots of love for this new beautiful adventure. But I feel like you, as the witchy wise woman in the house, can energetically set that up into motion through all your gift, skills, and talents. All right, June's coming through. Uranus 14 degrees Scorpio. Oh, our beautiful, lovely Naomi's lights in her Uranus opposition. So this is a teaching moment, and as well with Janice too. Thank you, Janice. For June, she's in what's called a Uranus opposition. Here's Uranus 16 degrees. June is saying, well, I was born when Uranus was here at 14 degrees Scorpio, opposite signs. So around this age, 38 to 42, 44, it's kind of a big gap depending on your signs, but it's called Uranus opposition. So Uranus moves in over our crown and starts rattling our bones. It wakes us up. It's a moment of, in the old days, they would call it a Kundalini rising event, meaning the sleeping snake who sleeps at the seat of our soul, the base of our spine, wakes up and starts to move and all the way up our Sushumna channel, right? Moves up, popping through all the chakras, waking us up energetically till it pops out the crown and we have enlightenment. But in the modern day world, we've got some blocks in our chakras. So when the Kundalini rises, it might hit a block and want to push through and hit, and usually starts to like change stuff in our world so that we can clear and cleanse something and open it up, so that, because that force of the Kundalini is powerful. You cannot stop it. There is no pill. There is no nothing. This is a primal instinct of the physical body with the spirit inside, and the power of the electronic field of Uranus coming through. So June says in the 9th house, right? So she's got Scorpio up here in the 9th house, and then Taurus would be her 3rd house, moving through that 3rd, 9th house axis of the mind, the higher mind, optimize lower mind, kind of moving into this kind of, I see the 3rd house as, when we start learning to speak and formulating ideas independent of our parents. So it's like toddler time. So you can go back to yourself, June, in toddler ages, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, something in kind of that 3 to 5, I think, where we go to kindergarten, 1st grade, we start that indoctrination at whatever level, right? Good, bad, or neutral. Look for any blocks in your life there, because that's where you're getting a wake up energy of that little body of 3 to 5 years old. And she got Venus 14 degrees Sag in the 10th house. Up here, Sag, right in there, opposite the sun. So you got Sun opposite Venus, which is a nice, this is, June's one of my sound healing practitioners. And I swear to God, I don't know what I would have done without my tuning forks through my own Uranus opposition. And I didn't even know what I was doing at that time, but thank God, because it really changed how I experienced that. They bring things in a deeper level of harmony inside to be able to handle these big frequencies. So if you're in that 8, if you know your Uranus is in Scorpio, or if you have something big in Taurus, like a North Node, a rising, a moon, a sun, something in retrograde, as well as Scorpio, because you also got the lunar nodes, you got Venus, Uranus, lunar nodes, all moving through that part of your vibratory field. So yeah, you want to be able to look in that space and go, okay, I got some big energy moving through. And then if you don't have anything, like for me, I've got nothing in Taurus in the 12th house, but I do have my Scorpio, Venus Scorpio, which was triggered recently by the sun. Wow, that was a trip. I drink to that. Okay, but if you need help understanding your chart, what's happening in the here and now, that's when you can book a session with me. And you can go to my website, lunarladies.com, and if you're a new client, I have a new client session. And if you're a returning client, just want to check up, I have a returning client session. All that's available under offerings. All right, so I want to give you one more thing to look at, which I thought was very interesting. So you notice how we have the yod from the moon to Chiron. Well, this begins, and Chiron is in a sextile or synergy to the sun, sun's in square. So this is starting to formulate what's called a trapezoid in the chart. The only thing that's missing is the square to Chiron from Capricorn. That would create the trapezoid. So since this is a second decan Virgo sign, which means it has the influence of the next earth element, which from Virgo is Capricorn, I wanted to take a look at the energy of the sun in Yod to Capricorn. This is the missing frequency, but it has a story to tell. And so I looked at 16 degrees Capricorn, because that would make a Yod to the sun. And it was the image of a nymph, like a young female nymph, and she's bathing in the nude, like in a fairy pool. I'm like, ugh. We already had the fairies dancing in the setting sun. So the fae, the elemental, that part of our primal essence is showing up this week. And so, just imagine this beautiful nymph, and she's bathing in the nude in this fairy pool. And, it's so innocent, so beautiful, so magical. And so her message for us, if we want to connect in this space, I think it would be very powerful, especially if you live in a beautiful natural environment, like a forest. She wants us to look at this in our lives. Only by letting go of what covers you up, right? What covers you up? Like a mask, a way of being where you're like, okay, everybody is okay with that when I'm like this, but that's not really who I am, but it's acceptable, right? And people, or I go along to get along. Like, what's covering you up? The real you. She says, only when you let that go, whatever it is that's covering the real you up, will you find out what is being covered up, right? Does that make sense? Just she's saying, strip away these false coverings, like keep you hidden from yourself. And when you strip that away, you'll realize, wow, I've been covering myself up with these things. And then you can start looking at your life. Maybe that showed up in your job. Maybe that showed up in relationships. Maybe that showed up in your friendships. Maybe that shows up in your family dynamics. Like, where do you feel covered up? And you just want to be free of that. That is what our sweet little nymph has to tell us. She wants you in the fairy pool, feeling free and to experience and merge with the beauty of life. What's covering you up from that, right? And the moon in Virgo says, we're getting to the core root of things to heal. And we probably learned that very young. To go, wow, if I express myself this way and I got boos and no's and very bads and I covered it up, it's not safe to do that. And then you grow up having that all covered up, and then you're like, okay, I don't even know who I am. Those kind of things, right? June shares, yeah, been doing this job, rattling my unworthy feelings. Ooh, boy. Till lay down on the ground, just gave up. Remember, I had to pick right? Sometimes you just gotta surrender and just go, help. Lay on the ground, look up at the sky and go, help. Soul team, 911, help me. This life is hard. Need my soul team, my ancestors, come on. Hi, Dee Maria. Welcome. Oh, the time difference. Yes. Oh, no worries. I am making a replay so you can watch this from the beginning. It's really good. Some good stuff because this energy, this wisdom is in effect till the full moon. And when is the full? I believe it's on the 14th, 16th. This is the best thing to own, the wee moon. Looking at the wee moon. Who's got the wee moon? It's a calendar. Oh, the full moon is on June 14th. I think that's Flag Day. Full moon in Sagittarius, guess where it's going to be? Pretty close to the galactic center. And I love that the James Webb telescope is starting to send back photos of our solar system. Dee Maria says, I am finally feeling more alive again, slowly. That's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, especially when I mean, how many of you like really felt the odd energy of Mercury stationing direct and Saturn going retrograde? Like I felt like it was in some kind of like, you know, those fun houses where they have this weird stretchy mirrors. I was like, am I in this like weird fun house mirror? Like, what is going on? I couldn't do anything. That was strange. Yeah, full moon is in Dee Maria's sun sign, Sagittarius. It's gonna be a fun full moon. Dee Maria and June are Sagittarius ladies in the house. So odd. A portal opened up in my living room and my dog went insane. What? Oh my God. And you're living in like the land of the Maya, you know? I can only imagine what vortexes you must be living over. Yes. Oh, another thing, if you know, those of us who have pets, take extra special care of them because these frequencies are pretty intense, and I think that they're hitting our pets hard. Felt like walking through a portal, totally, didn't it? I was so like, wow, I don't think I've ever felt something like, I mean, yeah, it was kind of like almost caught in between something. It was very, very odd. I'm glad it's like letting go. I think when Mercury moves up to the next degree, I think that's tomorrow, they'll shift it. You know. Multiple vortexes going on. Yes, Janice, you are reporting from the field. Yes, thank you. Totally. Multiple vortexes. Insane energy. So yes, I felt that. Yes, yes. So Dee Maria, along with Cherry Click Taylor, are in the land of the Maya, which is a very powerful place. So yeah, so watch, pay extra attention to your pets if they seem to be out of sorts or needing a couple extra treats or scratchies or CBD or whatever they need. I feel like they're really trying to absorb these powerful energies through their bodies, and they have littler bodies, even if they're big dogs like mine, 70 pounds, but still. It's like, I ain't feeling kind of weird. And I'm like, oh, so yeah, so just kind of give a little extra, like, you all right? What do you need? You might need a little, I like to do, and Lyra loves it. I have a selenite palm stone, right? And I just pet her with it, like down her spine. Oh, she loves it. She goes crazy. So I'm like, okay, I must be clearing some energy off of her chakras. So I think I'm going to go do that with her after this slide. Yeah, so do something gentle yet clearing and grounding for your doggies and cats, turtles, fish, hamsters, whatever, birds, whatever you got. Yeah, I like the selenite stone, maybe even a rose quartz that's smooth, of course. What's this one? Chrysocolla? No, this is apatite. Anyway, I like the palm stones because they're smooth. So if, you know, or you can like hum or chant or om. It's very soothing. They usually like that. So if you're like petting your dog, you know, go om, om, om. Round your house, clear it. Little rescue remedy is good in their water for cats and dogs. Things like that. So I was just feeling that need to share that with our community in regards to pets, because I was talking to a client yesterday and she lost her dog and she's very sad, and I don't blame her. And it was right during that odd portal time over the weekend, so it just kind of got me going, I'm hearing that and feeling that and even seeing that in my own doggy. So yeah, so if they need extra affection, definitely give it to them. And don't even question it. Just go, oh, okay. Because I think they're really trying to deal with this, whatever this is. Yeah, and if you have CBD, flower essences, those are really nice. A little selenite, which is, you know, clearing of the energy, helping them out. Of course, a little extra treats. It doesn't hurt. Okay, so if anybody has any other questions, if not, I'll sign off, send you all off into lovely dreamland with your ancestors, your guides, your power animals, your angels, waking up refreshed. I'll be back, of course, next week. What's the schedule for next week? What do we got? Ooh, we got a good one. Ooh, you guys gonna like this. Venus conjunct Uranus opposing the Scorpio moon. That's going to be right before the full moon on the 11th. I'm going to cover that one next week. And of course, the full moon. All right, so stay tuned. I'll post when it'll be as reminders so you can hop on. And of course, if you're watching the replay, feel free to leave a comment or question and I'll find it, or tag me. I'll find it and I'll answer. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining together in circle and bringing your awesome questions and comments and what's happening in your lives and in your charts. Yes, have an awesome night. Thank you so much. See you next week for Nighttime Astrology. Bye for now.